attending a very special meeting, which with only one agenda item. And with that, and I'd just like to then maybe just request the members of the ELS to then consider the agenda. And by show of hands, members, if we can adopt the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Pokola, Madam Massetti, Mr. Mkhize, Ms. Semane, and Advocate Sithole. The agenda is so adopted. With that, if we can then, yes, I know, Mr. Mkhize, you said your connection is limited, so perhaps if your hand has disappeared now, but it's I assume that at some time it might linger. With that, members, on the item that's on the agenda, if you can maybe just complete the declaration of interest forms that have been published and send them back to Mr. Mabunda. But I invite any member who may have something maybe they want to declare verbally, if there's any verbal declaration from members, by show of hands. With none, then members, I'll then take us straight to item number 5, which is the matter that we are here to discuss, and hand over to and invite Mr. Welile Mkhize to start the conversation. Members, they will make us they will introduce the matter, and then we'll open it up for members for comments. Thanks, Mr. Mkhize, Junior.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning to the Chairperson. Good morning to members and the staff on the call, as well as the public that have joined us. Chairperson, we are here to present a report. It is titled Approval of the Publication and Noting of the Timelines for Processing of Eskom's 6th Multi-Year Price Determination for the regulatory financial years of 25, 26, 26, 27, and 27, 28. Firstly, Chairperson, I would just like to apologize for the document having been provided to members quite late. It is a situation that we found ourselves in currently as a division. And then secondly, I would also like to apologize for quite a number of grammatical errors which we have pointed out, or which we have noted in the document. Firstly, section 2.1.1, it says approve the publication for the Eskom application. It should be Eskom and NTCSA. There's also quite a number of other grammatical errors on 4.3. It should also include the National Transmission Company of South Africa, and a few other grammatical errors, Chairperson. And thirdly, I'd just like to point out, Chairperson, on the screen is a revised timetable. There is a table 1 in the submission, so we have revised this timetable to include, as highlighted, a workshop for ELS members just during the term of the publication, or just after the term of the publication. It will be possibly from the 5th of November to the 8th of November, sometime between there during that week. And so that, Chairperson, pushes out the timelines slightly to the 7th of February 2025. But with regards to the details of the application, Chairperson, Mr. Sichotlo and his team will take us through the most important parts of the submission, and then I'll fill in the gaps wherever needed. So, Mr. Sichotlo, if you can come on the call and then take us through the detailed parts of the application. Thank you so much.
No, thanks, Mr. Mkhize, and good morning, Chairperson and members, members of staff and members of the public that has joined. Chairperson, as Mr. Mkhize has already mentioned, the submission is for the request for approval for publication of Eskom's MYPD 6 revenue application and the related consultation paper. In terms of the delegation, Chair, yes, this matter has been delegated to the ELS in terms of the request for the publication and comments, for the ELS to approve, and then for the ER to note. And then also the delegation goes further to allow or delegate to the ELS to request for publishing applications by licensees, the actual applications. Chair, the application was received from ESCOM on the 16th of August and was tested for compliance and whether it meets all the requirement. It was then approved at the ELS of the 9th of September. And then, Chair, in terms of what has been applied for, I think this is already common knowledge. ESCOM is applying for 445 billion, 495 billion, and 537 billion for 25-26, 26-27, and 27-28. Chair, once the ELS approves this request, Chair, we will endeavor to have this matter published immediately. But also, whilst Mr. Mkhize has already talked about the timelines, you will note, Chair, the timelines on the document itself, this particular document, are not aligned because, Chair, at the time that we had intended to have this matter published on the 18th of September, but there's been to and fro's, and we had to also clarify certain issues, especially with regard to the NTCSA. So I just want to bring to the members' attention that because this is only going to be approved today, hopefully, then that means that those timelines will need to move by some week or so because of that delay in bringing this matter to the ELS. In terms of the recommendation, Chairperson, they are under paragraph 15. It is recommended that the Electricity Subcommittee approves the publication of ESCOM's MYPD6 revenue application for the financial years 25-26, 26-27, and 27-28. That the ELS approve the publication of a consultation paper, and that the ELS recommends that the energy regulator notes the consultation. Chair, I will, and then the consultation paper itself is on Annexure B. I submit, Chair. I'll leave it there, and then we can take questions and comments from members. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chotwa and Mr. Mkhize. Members, you've got the submission before us. Any questions, clarity, guidance, by show of hands? There are matters that need to be clarified. Mr. Pukula.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the first thing I just want to point out is that the requirement to in the Electricity Regulation Act to process license application is 120 days. There is no prescribed time in the Electricity Regulation Act for processing tariffs and all of that. So it may be misleading for us to be stating 120 days. So I would propose that we remove that reference to 120 days. The second thing, Chairperson, is that we are already running, say, a month late for this. And what would be ideal is to make this decision by December, so that we also have the other 2 months for consultation for the retail tariffs that ESCOM has already indicated, and we therefore meet the date of the 15th of March or before the 15th of March for the publication. So when I look at the plan, there's some 36 days that we can shorten, but now the new plan that Mr. Mkhize was showing doesn't have that. During the time of the publication of the MYPD for stakeholder comments, there is no reason. In fact, we as the regulator should be going through these items, understanding them ourselves, and so that we can engage properly with the public. And I do want to propose some bi-weekly meetings where we are going to be taken through the different items, starting from the regulated asset base to the WACC to the other things during the consultation period, because during that consultation period, it doesn't say that we must sit and do nothing. And with that, we'll then be able to know what are these issues that we also need to focus on. And when we get the inputs, we have a good grasp of what the application is. And really, the last one, Chairperson, is in line with what other regulator members, and I will mention at this point, Ms. Semane has been vocal around the image of the regulator, and maybe this is the opportunity that we have during these public hearings to also employ whatever she had proposed and really repair the image of the regulator. So I'm not sure about the hybrid, I mean the virtual meetings for other provinces, and then Gauteng suddenly gets a physical one, and that I don't know if it's a question of the funds or what, but I would want us to relook at that. And those are my comments, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pokola. Madam Simane.
Thank you, Chair. Apologies for taking a bit of a minute in unmuting. System is very slow. Good morning to you, Chair, and good morning to our Chairperson and members, as well as colleagues. I'll just start where Mr. Bukula has ended in terms of the consultation process. I also was, I only read the documents that were there before the ones that arrived late. So if the information or my comments are on the latex documents, I haven't had time for that because they come very late. I was already on bed. Then my question is obviously on the consultation process, as the chair of ER has already touched on. But for me, I just want us to broaden our base in terms of the audience that we are going to reach, inviting stakeholder comments to also include the radio stations, in particular those that at national level and they broadcast in indigenous language, so that there's nobody that is going to be left behind. That's the first one. Then the second one is in terms of even the Microsoft Teams that we say everybody is going to join using. Then can we also consider maybe asking ICASA to zero rate the platform, even if it's just for this period, so that everybody who wants to join can be able to join, because we do know that the issue of data is also a hindrance in terms of participation. Then the other one also on the consultation process is with regards to is with regards to our own capabilities. More often than not, what I notice is that when there is an event or something that needs everybody to join on Microsoft or Zoom, you find that there's a limit. So I just want a confirmation that if, hypothetically speaking, if all 60 million or 50 million South Africans can rock up on that Microsoft, can we be able to have ability to allow them to join? Will they be able to all join? Then my other question or comment is with regards to the regulatory impact assessment that we talked about, I think, when we had the extended workshop, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to get a sense or confirmation that that process is also running parallel to this one. So the regulatory impact assessment, is it being undertaken with regards to this application? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Maseti. Advocate Sithole.
Good morning, Chairperson, members, and everyone on the platform. Chair, I had two questions, but I think I am covered on the first one by Mr. Bukula and Ms. Semane. It was in relation to public participation process. And I had members of our public who are in rural areas. I think that can be factored for consideration by the team in that manner, over and above what Mr. Bukula and Ms. Semane have said. How do we reach out to those people that are in the rural areas? Chair, the other one was just on the proposed questions. I don't know if I should go straight to it.
Yes, please, Ma'am.
It's on page 15, question 8 under B, where we talk about the ascension of the ERA Amendment Act. I just thought that maybe it will be important to enhance that, maybe in brackets, to say that it's not yet operational, so that when comments are made, whoever wants to comment, they may need to give a comment based on the current act or the new one. But currently, as we stand, the era of 2006 is still the one that is applicable. So I thought we can enhance that in that manner, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate. Mr. Mkhize.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenters. Apologies for the lack in time. From my side, I think Mr. Mkhize has already touched on some of the things, so I want to repeat them, and the members have spoken to the issues. But maybe just to clarify on the issue of consultation, I would appreciate if there can be some focus group in between, where we actually show that we've had these consultations and what actually did transpire in them, and what lessons we learned and how we're improving. For example, we should face the truth and the facts that are provided before us. In most of the time, what I've experienced is that when we go to different provinces, the community, the general public, other than the specific the involved stakeholders, their outcry is all about affordability. And then there is a kind of a limitation in terms of talking to the nuts and bolts of the application itself. And we need to consider that and be able to also have a space particularly for that, vis-a-vis where you also get some experts for never mind in terms of the use of the term expert, but you get experts who then would talk to the specifics of the application, thereby not just putting the sentiment, but also saying what needs to be done. I think we need to incorporate that. I think also need to mention the issue of the process underway to review the methodology. It's proven taking longer than what we originally envisaged, and therefore we have to go this route. The other comments that are coming from my side, I will without delaying the meeting, because it's an hour-long meeting, I'm going to send them to the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Mr. Mkhize Jr. and Mr. Sichotlo, I guess you note the enhancements and the requests for instance, for those bi-weekly feedback meetings, and also to discuss each element. I think those are enhancements. We've got a few of those enhancements, but you will note those and just respond to the ones that you need to respond to. But if maybe RSU could also come in and assist in terms of all of the process issues that are related to the RSU process. But over to you, Mr. Mkhize Jr. and Mr. Chotla and team.
No, thank you, Chairperson. We do note the guidance that has been provided by members. the one question that I noted, Chairperson, is from Ms. Semane regarding the confirmation of the regulatory impact assessment, which was asked for the team to do during the meeting of I believe it was sometime early this month. I will ask perhaps that Mrs. Sichotko touches on that one, but Chairperson, I must say that because of all the activities that have been taking place, we have not really started looking at this one, but we will put together a team to start looking at this. Others, Chairperson, I believe these are enhancements that we will do on the document, and we also welcome Mr. Mkize's inputs, which he will send to the team, particularly with regards to further questions that can be added to the consultation paper. These will greatly be appreciated. Thank you, Chairperson.
Mrs. Chotlo, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, Chair. I think just one point on the RIA, the regulatory impact assessment. Chair, within the team of the MYPD, we also have members from the from RA who are actually running with this RIA. So we have our own bi-weekly meetings as a team. So I think this will be one of the topics to be discussed there. Then we can give feedback at the proposed bi-weekly meetings by the chairperson of the ER. And then I think the big one, Chair, that Mr. Bugula mentioned was the one on the date of approval being in December, and that we must just look at maybe bring it forward. I think we can try and do that and we take advice about the period of those 36 days wherein there's less activity and maybe we can do more work. So those are, I think that is the one that is big for me from all the other comments. But the one thing is that when I look at the comments, it's more about how do we do consultation. I think what we may have not done properly here is that we cut and paste what we used to do in the previous years, and we thought that it's still the same. But I think the advice is that we should actually look at it better than, or try to enhance that one, especially with regard to the virtual meetings and renewing the image of the regulator, looking at radio stations, which are already doing with Charles, but I think Ms. Samani wants us to do more on that one. And there was also, I think it was a guidance from Mr. Mkize about the creation of focus group. We can talk to SCM and also to Vuisa Magubane and see how we can do that. But during those two bi-weekly meetings, I think these things will be reported back on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Mabunda, do you want to say something about perhaps the process itself? I guess also the issue of physical meetings as well as the bi-weekly meetings, and maybe just in terms of the arrangements that you can make, or any request or whatever issue that may be pertinent in respect of RSU. Because I guess the issue here is going to be about availability, both in terms of funds. Are the funds available for the physical meetings in all 9 provinces, and the focus groups and all of those things? And can that be arranged? Or even if it's just a comment in terms of the attempts that you're going to make. Any comments from your side?
Yeah, Chair, if I may come in, Chairperson. Chair, I think the proposal for holding face-to-face public hearings is a commendable proposal, Chair, in light of engaging members of the public and getting their views. There is no justification really to continue with virtual meetings when we are no longer having COVID-19. We will try and source funds, Chair, if funds are inadequate. Chair, I was gonna engage Mr. Mkize and Mr. Sichotlo in terms of bi-weekly meetings, whether we cannot find a creative way of informing or engaging members so that we dedicate more resources in terms of face-to-face public hearings. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ntanzi. Mr. Pokula?
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, the issue we have with this application is that, for starters, there's already been some miscommunications. I mean, if you look at the video of the gentleman who's doing it in front of NASA, one of the biggest miscommunication he's got there is that in this application, there is the 8 billion rand from the RCA that's included, the one that he talks about, the makeup tariff. The same happened in Parliament, that there's a belief that the 8 billion rand of the RCA that we recently decided on is in this, and it is not. And the second part around this, I am now going to go back some 15 years when we would have an ESCOM application that was like this. What was important was not us, the regulator, being at the forefront of this application, being the ones who are having to account for why this and that is there. But it is for us to take ESCOM and put ESCOM at the forefront of explaining what their application is. It's not our application, it's ESCOM's application, so they need to explain the application to the public. So and what we used to do then in the past, even if it was not a proper what do I call it, a public hearing, we had what we called public consultations, where we got ESCOM to go and present to the different fora. I think then we called them customer fora. And then they really do the breakdown, so that it's not us who are explaining what's in the application. They explain that, and I think that would cover some of the things that Mr. Mkhize has indicated, that when we have public hearings, we never get to talk about the actual application. We talk about the other issues that people are experiencing around the electricity supply. So I think we have an opportunity in this one to revive that and to get ESCOM to be the one who presents the application, and also to get the regulator to really get into the nuts and bolts of this. When I talk about the bi-weekly meetings are really us as the regulator members to be pretty comfortable with what's in the application and the areas where we are going to extract efficiencies as we are required to do by law. For instance, in one of the meetings, we can simply look at the regulatory asset base. What is it in the regulatory asset base that can be taken down? Because when you have that, then you are also going to reduce a few other things. Say in your Mr. Mkhize, I don't know if you want me to say you. So we're going to reduce the return and reduce the price, but in a way that really is systematic and methodical. I didn't get that sense the last time when we did the MYPD that is in place now, that we had really gone into the nuts and bolts. And thank you, Chairperson, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pokula, for the clarifications. I think that's also his guidance and experience from the past, and to address those miscommunications. I note your hand, Madam Simon.
Thank you, Chair. I fully support what Mr. Pokula has proposed, especially with regards to ESCOM coming to present themselves, their applications to those public hearings. And on that regard, I would like us to have a resolution wherein ESCOM is made aware of that expectation. That's the first one. Then the second one is with regards also with the RAB. I know we pressed for time. So on the RAB, what I just want to get an understanding of is whether or not it's too late for the regulator to even do a sampled visit to some of the big coast power stations. That's the first one. Then also that's the second one. The third comment from my side is that this RAB, is it figures that have been audited, or is it what ESCOM compiles and gives to the regulator? Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Simane. Mrs. Chotlo, Mr. Mkhize, to respond. Again, it's guidance. I'm sure we can actually attend. I'm sure these big these big cost items can be revisited in this during the month of consultation. But you guide. Before you do, Mr. Mkhize.
No, Chairperson, I'm covered by what you have said. I think that in terms of the nitty-gritties, I think those bi-weekly engagements will then assist in that regard. But maybe they may just respond to this one quickly so that we can move towards closure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Mr. Shotler, Mr. Mkhize.
No, I'm covered by what you said, Chairperson. If Mr. Shotler has something to add, through you, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shotler, anything else?
No, Chair, I think for the sake of time, I think we note the question raised by Ms. Simane, and I think RAP has been identified as one of the biggest. Probably we'll have to start with it in the next meeting that is going to be scheduled for members. We'll need to start with that and prioritize the others. But I think this one has already been identified, even by the chairperson, in the previous time that we spoke about the settlement. So we take guidance, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, members, I'm not sure if Mr. Mkhize and team, is there anything else that you'd want to add before we go for a decision?
Nothing to add, Chairperson. Thank you.
All right. No, thank you. With that, members, if there are no further guidance, and I do not believe that this is the only time, the team would be, I'm sure, will welcome opportunities for further engagements, either by emails or by any other means. But Mr. Mkhize, I see your mic is flickering. Do you want to add something? Oh.
No. Sorry, it was just.
All right. No, thanks. Mr. Pokula, want to add something?
Yes, Chair. I want to request that thing that Mr. Mkhize, Mr. Muzi Mkhize has always requested, that as we deal with this, can we then have, I mean, it's not for this meeting, but for the next ELS meeting, can we have that systems thinking? When we are dealing with this, we have the retail tariffs that are going to come, we have the municipal tariffs. Can we have that clear plan as we're going forward? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pokula. I think it's been a request by Mr. Mkhize for quite a while in terms of presenting a bigger picture and a proper plan in terms of how the interfaces between this process and the next processes. Thank you for that. But as we're indicating, we're requesting members to continually send messages or emails if there's anything else that you think that the team can benefit from, including in terms of the questions and any additional input, as Mr. Mkhize has indicated that he will send that by email. That would be most welcome. With that, members, if I can take you to the decision that is sought, it has been read into the record, but just for to bring the matter to a close, it's on page 7 of 7. It's page 7 of 17, and it's paragraph 15.1 from 15.1.1 to 15.1.3. In essence, it is recommended that the ELS approves the publication of the ESCOM's MYPD, but it was corrected ESCOM's and NTCSA's MYPD 6 revenue application for the financial years 2025, 26, 26, 27, and 27, 28. Number 2, to approve the publication of the consultation paper, having taken into account all of the amendments and enhancements that have been proposed by members. And thirdly, to then recommend that the energy regulator note the actual consultation. Members, by show of hands, if we can consider that. Can approve. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Mr. Pukula, Madam Simane. Advocate Sithole. Thank you, Advocate Sithole, Madam Massetti. I think she may have connectivity challenges.
The person I approve at
audible. You are audible. Thank you. Okay. You've got your decision, Mr. Mabunda. Thing to guide.
Apologies, Chair. To cut you short, we appreciate the decision. I just wanted to add or request some more clarity, which might be added on the decision that we just taken. Chair, the issue of physical public hearings and bi-weekly meetings, they still remain suggestions by members, and they tend to cause confusions when they are not taken down to be resolution. What is the position of the ELS in terms of having physical public hearings as well as the bi-weekly meetings that Mr. Bukula proposed? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Oh, I just took it that it was part of, I guess, of 15.12 in terms of the, in terms of enhancements. But as indicated by Mr. Ntanzi, there is no reason why we should not have. In fact, the issue is that we are going to have physical meetings this time. COVID is over, so for all 9 provinces, there will be physical meetings. And a budget budget issues would be sorted out. There was a request by, which I think is a fair request by Madam Simane, that if we can also to approach ICASA to see whether we can, whether the platform can be zero rated for the period, so that you can allow as broad as possible the members of the South African public to actually join on the platforms when there are platforms. Is something that will be investigated. I guess Mr. Mkhize Jr. will just need to put or maybe even RSU. I don't know who will do this, but it's something that we need to investigate and to make sure that we've got capacity, that if all 65 million people of South Africa want to connect, they can physically connect, they can actually connect. So I'm taking that all of these enhancements that were proposed by members have been taken into account. There may be others, like for instance the focus groups as have been proposed. It's basically all of that enhancements in terms of consultation that was proposed by members. I'm taking that all of those enhancements will be included to the extent possible. But the issue of bi-weekly, I think, have really been clarified again by Mr. Pukula, that those are internal meetings, and part of those may well include the request by Madam Simane to actually zero in on some of the big cost items. And actually, if there are physical meetings that can be held to verify those costs, those things will be done. So it's actually just all part of that of the enhancements, Mr. Mabunda. I'm hoping that helps. So it's something that is expected to be done as members have guided. I'm not sure if I've covered you.
You did. Thanks, Chair.
All right. Thank you. All right. With that, I'd like to thank members for the decision. So we can step off that to square 2, and we can go to item number 6. I'm not sure who's assisting. Is it still Ms. Jamba?
Yes, Chair. Good morning, everybody. Chair, I'll take the notices as having been read, but just to remind the members of the RERA and portfolio committee meetings that are taking place in Zanzibar this week. In fact, as from today, 23, 24 September.